So, the Rambam, in the first halacha, in Yesodei Torah, tells us that the foundation of all foundations and the pillar of wisdom is to know that there's a primary being. Now, to make sure that we do not have any warped concept of Hashem, to think that He is in parts, because He does have different traits that He uses. For example, He created the world with midat adin, the trait of judgment, where if someone makes something wrong, he gets punished immediately. But when He saw, which obviously is all at the same time, He didn't wait to see something and then He saw it. It's all at the same time, but the way Chazal explains it is that originally the thought was to make it bidat adin, but because He saw that we would not be able to survive even a single day with such harsh judgment, He also included midat chesed. And that's why there's a couple of names being used for Hashem. There's, in Sefer Bereshit, there's the Yud Kei Vav Kei, and then there's the Elokim. One representing the chesed, the kindness and the mercy, and the other one representing the judgment. But when you first start learning Torah, to tell people that Hashem has different traits that He uses to apply into the world, people start thinking that God has different parts. So what did the Rambam, the Mamash Isha Elokim, what did he do in his writing? Remember I told you guys that the sages don't use a word superficially. A word. We write something. You want to write an article, It'll take me, I don't know, it's like mamash, I give my neshama to write an article. Sometimes it takes me a few days to write an article. That's why I don't write so often, because it's just so hard for me to do it and portray what I'm thinking. And I like writing. It's just that I think if I wrote more, it simply wouldn't survive. And it's hard. For me, some people, they write easily. But what's the difference? The more careful you are with the words that you choose, the more difficult it is to write. When they came to Rav Kanievsky, Shichyeh, and he told him, Rav, Kvod Rav, you haven't published a book in a long time. We're just translating your books into English. Why don't you write a new book? He says, I don't have the koach to do it anymore. Now this is a tzaddik that learns the entire Shas Bavli, the entire Shas Yerushalmi, the Zohar, the Midrashim, the entire Tanakh, and many, many other things I can't even name, every year. For 90 years already, he says, I don't have the strength to write another book. Why? Because the amount of wisdom that he uses to write a book is beyond our comprehension. Same thing with all of the Chachamim. They put their life into it. Now, when somebody writes a le'avdil, a novel or something, they don't think twice about certain words. They just think of what's going to make people, impact people the most, what's going to give people the most, the best picture of what I'm trying to portray. But this is different. Why? The Ramban in the Yesodei Torah, he says, Yesod ha-yesodot ve'amud ha-chochmot. The foundation of all foundations and the pillar of wisdom. These are important words. This is clear what we knew. No. There's a reason why these words are in this order. Why? Yesod starts with a Yud. Yesodot, ha-yesodot starts with a Hey. Ve'amud starts with a Vav. Ha-chochmot starts with a Hey. Yud, Kei, Vav, Kei. The foundation of all foundations and the pillar of all wisdom, inside it. First letter, God's name. Which one? The one that encompasses everything. The one that encompasses everything. Don't get a mistake, it's not 6 parts like Manis Friedman and the company said. No. The one that encompasses everything. Yud Kei Vav Kei. That's it. That's the beginning of Mishneh Torah. The words that he picked are studied by Chachamim. Why did he pick this word and not that word? You write a book, no one's going to care. I write a book, no one's going to care why I use this word and not that word. Why? We're not on this level. We're not on this level. But the reality is, Chachamim, when they write serious books, they choose their words carefully. So, even the order of the words has to be calculated. Now, you can calculate your words as much as you want. It may not make sense, though, as far as the sentence, though. You may want to have an acronym that spells God's name, but the sentence itself is not going to make any sense. That's the difference between a regular person that thinks he could contradict the Rambam and say the Rambam is wrong here, and the Rambam himself. One that has no chokhmah and one that has chokhmah. Now, he tells us that a person that does not accept God's existence simply will not have faith in the Torah. If you do not believe in Hashgacha Pratit, you do not believe in Hashem's divine providence, in Hashem's status of Echad, Yachid, Umeyuchad, that He's one, that He's alone, and that He's special. That He's not Echad because there's a Shtayim. He's not Echad because there's a two. You know, we think, oh, there's one because it's more than nothing, and hence there has to be more, something after. No, no, no. He's Echad, Yachid, Umeyuchad. He's one and only. There is nothing else like Him. There is no other God. There is no partners. There's no middleman. Nothing. One is one. Now, this is very difficult for some people to understand. Especially Goyim, that try to humanize God. Because it's very difficult for them to understand how could it be that He's alone. They can get to the conclusion and understanding that He created the world. But they also believe that the world was like a surface that allowed creation. Meaning, you could have, le'avdil, you could have let's say, a tower that you build out of Legos, like this architect I told you guys about for 40 years. Right? You have this architect, he creates you a big castle or a house or something out of Legos. Now, you could believe, yeah, he created it, but he was only able to create it because the Lego pieces existed. And the surface that will uphold the Lego pieces existed. And that's wrong. What Echad Yachid Umeyuchad means, what believing in Hashem, that He's one and only and special, and there's nothing else but Him, is that it's not only that He created the world, is that He also created the ability for a world to be created. That there was no ability, there was no world to be created before He decided to create it. Where a lot of people think that before the world there was nothing. Wrong. Before the world there was God and nothing else. There was just God. And God minimized Himself in order to make space for His creation, if you will. It's not that the world is part of God. God doesn't have parts. God doesn't have parts. He doesn't have arms, legs, world, universe, Mars is here, Pluto doesn't have that. There's only God, really. Everything is God. Everything. The world is not part of God. And that's one of the things that's very, very difficult for people to understand, where they think that God is, in essence, a part of creation, if you will, or He took advantage of something that already existed to some extent. Hence the reason of why Am Yisrael constantly says that Hashem created the world ex nihilo, from nothing. That there was nothing, not that there was literally just empty space. There was no ability for anything to exist. There was just God. So, the commentaries on this explain that this understanding of God's existence is the fundamental principle upon which everything is based on. All of the halachot, all of the mitzvot, all of the learning, all of everything that you do has to be sitting on this as a foundation. Your entire ideology of being a Jew or a righteous Gentile must be sitting on this understanding that God is one and only and there is nothing else but Him. If you have a different understanding, You, my friend, are in a very, very serious problem. What kind of problem? The Rambam writes in Ilchot Teshuvah, chapter 3, halakha number 7, that someone who does not believe that God is alone and the first thing, and the first being, and the creator of everything, such a person is considered a heretic, a min, who does not have a portion in the world to come. So not believing in Hashgacha Pratit, where HaKadosh Baruch Hu is everything, which means also, not that he was only here at all times, that there is no before him, there is no after him, there is no part of him, but aside from that, the creation itself is not something separate from him, meaning that your thoughts, which is the most private thing that you have, your body is not private. Why? You shared it with somebody probably at some point. If you haven't, you will in the future. Whether it be a doctor or a spouse. At some point, it's not so private. But your thoughts, not always. Your thoughts you're not going to always share with somebody. Especially if you're Moroccan. For sure you're not sharing them. Moroccans don't share their thoughts. How you doing? Baruch Hashem. End of conversation. Can't say nothing to them. So, hey, what's going on? Baruch Hashem. I think good, Baruch Hashem. It's a perfect answer, really, in reality, but you can't have a conversation with them. Unless you're talking about yourself the whole time. So now, but I love Moroccans. They're good people, good-hearted people. Just don't say anything about their life. Now, a person that believes in anything absent from this has no share of the world to come. This is a big deal. This is a very big deal. Why? That means that you have to believe, not you should. This is not a recommendation. I know I say sometimes recommendations. No recommendation. This is obligation. Just like you're obligated to breathe if you want to live, obligation to believe that HaKadosh Baruch Hu knows your thoughts right now. And not only that, he knows the thoughts that you had any other time in your life right now. He doesn't have to recollect it, to remember it like you do. Right now, he knows all the thoughts that you've ever had. The thoughts, not just the actions, the thoughts. Things that are not you forgot yourself. He knows. Your most prized possession, your most private possession, he knows. That's how much control HaKadosh Baruch Hu has on this world. A person that has trouble believing this must read the Mishneh Torah and go through it, one halakha after another with commentary in their first language, and read it over and over and over and over again until they understand this. Why? Or else, all the things that you're doing is going in the garbage. If you don't believe in a one and only God, everything you're doing is going in the garbage. Now, this is not easy for people to believe sometimes. Why? Because people want to give themselves power. I made the money. I bought this house. I knew the area. So that's why it was a good idea I had. And it was the right timing because the market just dropped. I knew that it was the market bottom. And I'm the one that picked him to work for me. And I knew that he's going to be the best employee in the world. I picked him when he was a nobody. I did. And I. Gone. Throw that out into the garbage. Throw the word I out of your vocabulary. I should be replaced with Baruch Hashem or Bezrat Hashem. That's what it is. Why? Has nothing to do with you. Yeah, but I did do it. No. Hashem made it look realistic. In reality, Hashem did it. Yeah, but I had the idea. Who gave you the brain? Who gave you the thought? Who decided that this is going to actually work? Yeah, but what? Hashem knows my thoughts? Yes. Ah, he knows a lot of stuff then. Everything. Everything he knows. Even the stuff that you don't know yet. He knows that too. Wait, so if he knows what I'm going to do, how can he judge me for it? He didn't tell you to do it. He knows all the possibilities of what choices are available to you. You still choose. What is that like? If, let's say, for example, I told you, Give me a piece of paper. I'll write down a piece of paper. We'll put it in an envelope. We're both going to lock it up in a safe. Tomorrow we're going to come back and see what's in the paper. You go about your day. After we do this, come back next day. We open the safe. We open the paper. We open the envelope. We see, what did I write? I wrote every single thing you did the next day. Every single thing you did. Now, obviously, I didn't follow you. I wasn't there. The paper was there the whole time. The fact that I knew everything you're going to do change your behavior? Influence your behavior? No. So I knew it. That's in essence a simplistic explanation of Hashem's knowledge of your free will. It doesn't alter your behavior, but nonetheless, He does have that knowledge too. The point being is, anyone that thinks that Hashem forces you to do something, the Rambam writes, this is a foolish thought. It's a heretical thought. Why? Because if Hashem wanted to send you to Gehenom, what's the purpose of putting you in this world? If Hashem wanted to put you in Gan Eden only, what's the purpose of putting you in this world? Meaning that your choice does have your choice, your ability, your influence. He's not going to influence you. The fact that He knows the outcome of everything doesn't change you. You still choose for yourself. But this is one of the things that the Rambam himself writes in Shmona Plakim. It's not possible for a human being to understand free choice. Just like it's not possible for a human being to understand God Himself. We can understand aspects of it, facets of the diamond.